Yo, what is up, everybody? Popo here, bringing guys a new video, and today I want to give you 10 sites that'll help you start your VGC journey. Let's go. Welcome, everybody, and today we're going to be talking about 10 sites that can really help you when you're starting into your VGC journey. If you're new to the game, or even if you're a veteran, you can use these sites to your advantage to just better yourself at the game or learn more about the game in general. And there's a lot of different things you can do to improve your game that don't always include playing the game itself. And I'm going to show you some of those examples. We're going to go over why these sites are good and how you can use them effectively and stuff like that. So I want to give a couple of honorable mentions to some other sites that you can use in various different ways. First, I want to go for like a Facebook VGC group. It's an okay place to go ask a question, or if you're looking for a trade or something like that, it's a pretty decent place. It's not super toxic like you might think it would be, but also it's Facebook. So then you got X or Twitter, and you can go follow some of your favorite creators or some of the best players that you know, and you can kind of see how they're thinking on a day-to-day basis about their teams. And sometimes they post some of their results and their thoughts about the team that they played and their pokey pace and stuff like that. So that's a really great place to get that kind of information if that's what you're looking for. Discord. Some of your favorite creators, once again, might have some Discords, and this is a great place to find people and have discussions. You can also find a lot of people who are looking to make, some playtesting groups or some team building groups, so you can join some of those. And you can grow with them and become better players as a group. And the last one is Pokemon Home. It's the app on your phone where you can go and look at the results from the ladder. What are the top Pokemon that are performing on the actual ladder in game, and like what are the best teams that are going on at that current time and stuff like that. So it's a great place to just go look and just gain a little bit of information, especially if you are a best of one ladder player. So definitely go there. But without further ado, let's get into this. The first one I want to talk about is VGC Guide. This is a super underrated site. It is made by Aaron Trailer, Wolfglick, and Aaron Cybertron Zhang. This has a ton of information about VGC. You can go from, the introduction. It'll kind of tell you about VGC, how to breed, if you're coming from singles battles, which a lot of people I have seen have been. A lot of people who do switch over to VGC, because VGC has been growing substantially in the recent so a lot of people are coming from singles. They'll go for battles, team preview, what to think on team preview, how to form a game plan after seeing team preview, stuff like that. Protecting, like that's a big one that people don't talk about a lot, is when to protect, when to switch, stuff like that. Team building, this will help you if you are trying to get a team going. I don't know if this is all fully updated to the new games or what, but I mean the theories and ideas are still relevant and important. Circuit, this will tell you how tournaments work if you are to go to official tournament. So you want to make sure before you go to official tournament to do this, because not only does it tell you how to do that, it also tells you like what you should bring, what you should expect to for this whole event to cost. Though this has been increasing, of course. Hotels are more expensive, these events are more expensive, so keep that in mind too. This might change over time. What you should pack is super important. Not something people think about. They're like, okay, I got my Switch, I'm ready to go. You want to make sure you have a few other things in your backpack before you do head out. So check that out. So yeah, this is going to be very helpful if you're first getting into VGC. So make sure you guys go to this, and all sites will be linked down below. So if you are having a hard time finding this, which you really shouldn't, you just type in VGC Guide. It'll be right there. But links will be down below. So if you want to check out any of these sites, make sure you go down there. So the next one is going to be Marriland, and I apologize for the ads. Some of these sites have so many ads, it's crazy. So respect to VGC Guide for not being one of those sites. But Marriland, and this is a really cool site. This could be Marriland's team builder, and what this allows you to do is put in the Pokemon that you want to use on your team, and it'll show you the weaknesses of those Pokemon. And this will allow you to get a visualization, because a lot of people are visual learners, so they want to see what this looks like. As you get better at the game, sometimes you could just do this in your head. Like I'm at that point where I can just, if I'm putting a Pokemon on my team, I know all of its weaknesses, all its resistances. So every time I add or take away a Pokemon from that, I have an understanding of what that Pokemon is doing to this chart. But this is a super important chart. If you're just getting to VGC, this is definitely a great way to look at the game. And like I said, I'll give you that visualization. As you can see, this is a pretty popular team that's going on right now. It got 2 places in the top 8 at the LA Regionals. So I just put it in here because it's a great example. You see that ice weakness is very strong, but sometimes that's okay, because there might not be a lot of ice attackers. Of course, in this format there is, so you gotta make sure you have a way to deal with those threats as well. So Fairy is a weakness too. Fairy's not as common right now as ice is because of Calyrex, but as you can see, this is super, super important to know, so you know what your team is good and weak against, and you can make adjustments on your team based on that. So if you want to lower this ice weakness, maybe you start taking off something like the Raging Bolt for something that resists ice, so that way you have a better advantage against your opponent. Or maybe you just switch Koraidon into a different restricted and see how that goes for you. But yeah, this is a good representation, so definitely use this. That's going to be Marriland Team Builder. If you search that in the Google, once again, the link will be down below. It has tons of different languages too, so you can pick the language that best suits you. Next is going to be Victory Road Part 1, because there's going to be 2 Victory Roads in this. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet speed tiers. This has been updated every time a Pokemon drops, and this just shows you the speed of every single Pokemon. So it's going to show you the max, the min, or the mid and the min. Mid, don't really pay attention to that. You're gonna mostly go for the max here. And what this is going to allow you to do is when you're doing your EVs, you're going to be able to try to outspeed certain things that you want, right? So if you're going, like, you are losing to Garchomp, so you want to be slightly faster with your Garchomp, you're going to look here, it's 169. So any Pokemon that you want to beat Garchomp, you're going to want at 170, right? That's probably a bad example because he's not super popular right now. Also over here is their actual base speed stat. So if you have a Pokemon like Zacian, right? Zacian is 138. So if you want to outspeed it, if it's max speed, you're going to have a base speed that's higher than that, or use a Choice Scarf, right? So if you have like Chien-Pao, you can never outspeed Zacian. Zacian Crown is most likely going to be used more, but you're not going to be able to outspeed that, right? So what you would have to do is use Choice Scarf, or hope that they are not max speed, and that's kind of how you get around that. And when you're looking at this, you just want to make sure that if you do have a higher speed Pokemon, like let's say you do have that Zacian, and you want to outspeed Chien-Pao, you just have to beat 205. So you can go to a 206 stat rather than going to a 220 and using some of those EVs in a different stat to make them a little bit more bulky, or going max attack or something like that. So that's how you kind of use this site. You want to just make sure you're using this effectively to build your team. And it's just a great resource to know how fast Pokemon are without having to look up all of them, because of course you could do like Control F and then just look for the one that you want to see. And it'll bring you right to that Pokemon. After a while, you start learning what these speed stats are, and you can kind of, you go, okay, well, I'm using a Jolteon, I want to outspeed a Zacian, so that's not really going to work, kind of thing. Or I'm a Zacian, and I want to speed Chien-Pao, I know Chien-Pao goes to 205, this is all in your head, because these Pokemon are very popular, so 205 is a pretty good base of what you want to outspeed if you're trying to outspeed a meta right now. But yeah, so this is definitely good, but also just the Victory Road regular site is really, really good too. What this does is you can look at all of the VGC rules, the season structure, the world invitees. Like you can go here and you can kind of check out who has earned their invites, which is pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing. So and it'll show you a list. It looks like it's alphabetical. And yeah, so there you go. Let me see if it has every single, oh, there's Jose right there, my boy Jose. And then I'm just looking for one more person. There he is, Jacob, right here. Jacob is my boy. So right there. Shout out to both of them. And then on top of that, you can go to the event calendar, which will give you all the events for the current season that are official top level tournaments. But more importantly, I think, is that if you go to rental teams, you'll have a lot of content for this too. So these will have PokePaste. They'll have various different resources that you can use. A lot of these are closed team sheets. Some of them are open team sheets that you can get the information for. And under resources, where is it? Past seasons right here. You can actually go and look at some of the other seasons, which you can't do on some of the other websites. So it's really good to do that. So if I wanted to go to 2022, you can go to 2022. You can click on Japan Nationals, and it'll give you all of the teams from Japan Nationals. So you can kind of see that information, and maybe you're looking for inspiration from an older team in a similar format, and you're like, okay, so why did this team work, kind of thing. So you can go back and kind of look at that stuff, maybe learn the history, you know, that kind of stuff. So Victory Road is a great place for that. Next, we have Pikalytics. Pikalytics is a place where you can kind of see Showdown stats. Like, it'll tell you what the most used Pokemon on Showdown at the current moment are, what the most common moves on that Pokemon are, and it will even give you some of the EV spreads with the natures as well. So you can use this to your advantage by just being able to build teams based on what other people are using, and then adjust them to your needs. So if you're saying, oh, I want to use Raging Bolt on my team, but I really don't know how to build it, I would not suggest this one. But then you can go, oh, okay, this one's 100, 236, 164. Okay, I'll try that one. And then you just plug that one into your team and give it a shot. And same with the items and stuff like that. The ability, yeah, I mean, if it has a different ability, which a lot of these don't, especially these top-end Pokemon. Somebody's using a Defiant Tornadus. Don't do that, but you can kind of see the abilities. They'll tell you which one's the most used and stuff like that. And you can use this to your advantage to take your opponent by surprise, because if they're used to seeing Focus Sash, maybe now you're running a Citrus Berry and he's a little bit bulkier, or you're running a Mental Herb so they can't taunt you, because Whimsicott has become more popular and it's faster, so you can taunt you. But yeah, and it'll show you what Pokemon they're used with and everything like that. You can also check the actual switch ladder, but it doesn't really give you as much information. You can kind of just see the natures and stuff like that, and just use Pokemon Home for this. It's a lot better in my opinion than what this is, because you can look at teams and stuff, where this does show you stuff, but it's just missing a lot of details. So is Pokemon Home. It's not the best, but it's all right. And the next site we got this damage calculator. This is going to be I forgot the person's name. It's something nerd. Oh, right here, Nerd of Now. And this is amazing. This thing is very good. You can now add more Pokemon, so you can, you know, switch between them, and that helps you because you can put your whole team here and check damage calcs against a whole nother team. So if you have that information, what you're going to use this for is if you want to, like, check your Zacian set against, you know, Incineroar or something like that. You'll be able to see how much damage it does and stuff like that. You put the EVs in, the IVs in, the nature. You can put the Terra types and stuff too. And you can just really see what your Pokemon is doing against the other Pokemon and how much damage. And like I said, you can switch to the other ones and kind of see what they're doing and all that stuff. So a great site. Yeah, like 100% of the time you're going to use this. Like this is an important site. This is probably one of the most important I've shown you so far. Everybody uses this. This is great. You can do, you know, Tailwind's up and shows you the speed change. The Sun's up, you know, it increases the damage amounts, and Helping Hands on this side, and, you know, Light Screen's up, so decrease the damage, all that kind of stuff. So it's a really, really good. It's really, really good. Speaking of this, though, there's a little button up here, as you can see, Showdown. And if you've never used Showdown before, this is a website to do simulated battles. This is so you can build your team and not have to build it in game and use your resources, and you can test it out. They do have best of 3 ladders now, so you can test it on that if you are preparing for an event. This can be open team sheet best of 3, so this is a great way to practice. There are some unserious teams on here, and there's a lot of rude people, but overall it's a pretty good community, especially for the VGC side, and it's going to help you play test your teams. If you're looking just for a ladder, you can just do best of 1s, and you don't have to do open team sheets. You can just deny them or just ignore your opponent when they click that. And like I said, this is just going to allow you to test your teams, check ideas. Like maybe you have some stupid gimmick team that you want to just play and have fun with. This is going to be the place that you could do it, because it takes a couple of minutes, a minute, 2 minutes to actually build a team under the team builder tab here. And then you're ready to go and you're ready to battle, and then you're doing that. So pretty easy website to use. Build your team, pick your format. When you are building your team, you just want to make sure that you are going to pick the right format here, which right now is going to be Regulation G. So make sure you do that. When you add Pokemon, it'll have all the Pokemon. Just make sure you follow the rules of the formats. You can click the validate button here, and it'll make sure that this team is actually able to be used in that regulation. So definitely use that to check those, because you don't want to be like, why is my team working? And it'll tell you exactly why your team's not working when you try to queue up to, which is really nice and a great feature. So shout out to Showdown. It used to be just single battles on this thing, so now VGC is actually, I believe, the most played of all the formats in the whole entire website. So VGC has taken over. Next, we have YouTube, and this is just an example. This is Cybertron. If you don't watch Cybertron, you're crazy, because this is one of the best YouTubers on the platform, but there are so many other great YouTubers. James Beck, you got Wolf Glick, of course, you got like Moxie Boosted, you got so many creators. Find ones that you like, find ones that are giving good information that you feel comfortable with. Use the teams that they show, try them out. Sometimes they're not going to work for you, because they do use a ton of different teams, and you know, they're able to adapt a little bit better than especially a newer player. So you might not click with all the teams, but don't think that that's because you're a bad player or the team sucks or anything like that. It's just different players play different styles. So always keep that in mind as well. Next, we have Labmaus. Now, this is one of my favorite websites. I adore this website. This is my new go-to source. I look at this for like 2 hours. I could just sit here and just look over it. So what this is this shows every tournament that has been on Limitless, or it shows the official tournaments that have happened. So we can go here, we can go right to the Los Angeles Regional Championships, and if you've seen any of my recap videos or anything like that, this is the website I use. This ad is right in the middle. Okay, I wish that would go away. I've never seen that. Maybe it's because I zoomed in a little bit. And this will show you every Pokemon that was used at the event. You could check the win rates of those Pokemon. So Gyarados performed very well. Of course, Giovanni Costa used this Pokemon very successfully, and it was the only one at the tournament. Hisuian Gudra did really well. Chandelure did very well. I'm surprised it was 2 Chandelures, I'm going to be honest with you. So yeah, you can kind of see the outline of all of these teams, and you could see how interesting some of these picks are. Frostmoth Skuntank team, you can kind of go through this and you can kind of start building your own team, but you can also go through every single team that was actually at the event, from the top team all the way to some of the bottom teams. I guess these people just didn't show up for the event. So they don't have any wins or losses. And then, yeah, look at, you can go through all the 0-2s, 0-4s even, just to see what people are running. And you find some interesting teams. Like this person didn't even bring a restricted. Neither did this person. They just said, nah, I don't need no restricted. And then they went 0-4. So, they probably needed a restricted. And you can get some really good team ideas. But on top of that, there's so many other things you could do with this website. You could click on the Pokemon and it'll show you every move that they used, all the teammates. I have it zoomed in slightly just to make it better for the video. But this will show what teammates it was used with, what Terra types, and stuff like that. So if you're looking at a Pokemon that has more usages, those are going to be more varied, and you're going to see that there is a variation on what these Pokemon are running. I didn't know Incineroar got close combat. Am I the only one? I've just never seen it before. Yeah, so you can get all the information. If I wasn't zoomed in, this would be a lot easier to do this. But yeah, so like one person ran Blaze on accident, so yeah, it sucks to be them. But you can see what the most common Terra types are and all that stuff. So this is a really good way to see what people are using, though it does not show EVs or IVs, so you got to keep that in mind as well. It's just showing what those Pokemon have on them, the open team sheet information. And you can do the same thing with the moves, right? You can click on it, and these are the Pokemon that are using this move the most. So Fake Out is a pretty obvious one, but Close Combat, we can go over here and we can see, okay, there was a lot of Close Combat users, ones that maybe you didn't expect, like Incineroar. Same with the special side, you can kind of see what was running that. Clefairies are running it. Tailwind, so you can help this kind of build up your team and just be like, okay, this is what people are using. But you could check, there's some local tournaments. I don't want to call them local tournaments. I'm gonna F5 this. Maybe that'll get rid of this ad. Okay, good. So these are smaller tournaments, online tournaments and stuff like that. We had our locals and they appeared on here as well. But yeah, you can even check these. These aren't as great of a source as something like in a big official tournament, because these are going to be stuff that might work online but might not actually function very well in a bigger tournament set. So you might see some more unique teams topping, like this team going 9-2 is a lot more of a unique team, but it might not perform as well in a bigger regional event where people are more prepared for things. So keep that in mind too. But yeah, you can just see, like this weekly, this might be just this person's local play group, weekly kind of thing. Sometimes you get some of that. So yep. And then you can look at top teams. So you can put any duration of time. So we can do from the beginning of the month to the 31st, and we can apply the filters, and it'll show you the teams that performed the best during that time. So this is going to be the best performing team. You can click on it and it'll show you the events that they did really, really well at, including the second place at the LA Regionals. The regionals, they're scaled point-wise based on some formulation, I imagine, like how many players were in the event and what the event was, and that gives points, and those points go into this. But you can see this team is more than double, so this is technically the best team right now. And this is just showing you what you should be prepared for going into a tournament. These are the top teams. Make sure that you have something that can fight against these teams and have an understanding of how these teams run, because that's super important as well. So and then over here you can just like click Rillaboom, and then it shows you Rillaboom, all its usage, tournament standings, which abilities are being used, what Terra types being used, which item, who it's teaming with most often, moves, all that kind of stuff. The most recent placements of tournaments, or what tournaments it was used in, I guess. And you can see all of that information. You can change the tournament, you can change the regulation that you're looking at, the official, like if you go to official, then it'll just show you these two, and then it'll kind of show you the breakdowns of those, just those tournaments, like abilities. It's always using that, right? So, and yeah, so you can kind of see, you can use this in a lot of ways and just learn a lot of information. That's what I mean. If you're looking to build a team and you want to go in depth, after you figured out kind of what you want to use, like the basis of your team, you can start using this to try to nitpick and get into that. And then you can use some of the other resources, like the damage calculator and stuff, to start doing those EV spreads against some of those popular teams here. You can kind of plug in those Pokemon and just start doing damage calcs, trying to survive certain attacks. And then you could start playing on Showdown and start learning the breakdowns of those. So, and then the last site we have, I believe this is the last site, is going to be the Event Finder. So this is going to be a super good resource. And from after this week until after Worlds, this isn't really going to populate, because I don't think you can do events at this time, but as of right now, this is going to be where you're going to look, and this will show you where you can go for premier challenges or mid-season showdowns, or even just local events. Some people have leagues. Some of these stores have leagues. We need to get ours on here because we do have some locals. I'm in the Boston area, so I put Boston, and this kind of just shows, this is a Pokemon Stadium tournament hosted by Gabby, who is a commentator for Pokemon, and Cheese, who is their dog. So there you go. But you can see right here, Premier Challenge. So these are going to be official events, and any events that you see the video game at, like the DS, these are going to be video game tournaments. They'll have cards if it is a card version of the tournament, but you can change that under filters and just put video game. And just search your area and stuff like that. But yeah, you can see these are premier challenges. These will earn you championship points towards, you know, earning an invite to the world championships. So if you're going to try to go to official events, these are what you're going to want. But I would suggest starting off with some of these more like smaller, like local tournaments if you're just getting into VGC, because these are going to be ones that are more friendly. The people there are going to be super helpful, and you're just going to play games for fun. Sometimes there's going to be money involved, like our locals. It's money, cash prize based on how many people enter. So that's always good, because I like that personally, because it makes it more enjoyable for me. But if you click on these, it'll show you all the information of when this is happening, what the location is, what the rules are. What the rules are, you know, the description and all that information there. It's going to show you where it is on the map, though it zoomed in way too much. And you can use this map, and this is a really good resource too, is to check places to eat that are around, because oftentimes that's what you do. You go play, you hang out, you have a good time, win or lose, and you go get some food, you know, meet some cool people, and you can kind of use that for this too. But this is going to be a really great resource if you want to find places to play in your area. So make sure you're always checking this while the season is active. Like I said, the season's about to go inactive as the lead up to Worlds. North American International Championship is the last official event that is happening next weekend, starting on the 7th, until the World Championship, and then about a month after that is when the season starts back up again. But that does sometimes change, so just keep posted on, you know, X and stuff like that. People post information all the time about how those events work, and locals and all that kind of stuff. So, but anyways, guys, I hope this video was helpful to you all, and if it was, make sure you guys do thumbs it up. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you guys subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, everybody.